Hello everyone. Today I have Mrs. Vandana Boggaram with me. I would call her a perfumist, but she knows perfumery as well as her responsibility towards education of underprivileged children and green issues. She's also the winner of Bangalore Youth Award. So let's welcome her to our show, Youth Icon. I welcome you.
Hi Nikita.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
You're looking very pretty today.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm sure all the viewers will be in confusion that what is a perfumer and what is perfumist.
Before I begin, I'd like to wish all our YTV viewers a very happy and a prosperous new year. Yes, what is a perfumer? I know, a lot of people think being a perfumer means like really being very cool. It's such a cool job. You get to do a lot of things, experiment, and it's very interesting. But you know what? I'm not going to deny it. It's all 100% true. It is a very cool, interesting job.
Actually, it sounds that as well.
Yeah. In one of the books, Anne of Ireland, the author once mentioned, I wish I could see perfume as well as smell it. I'm sure it's going to be beautiful. But you know what? While a painting is visually beautiful, perfume or fragrance has a beautiful mystery to it, only when you experience it. So being a perfumer is like an artist. Like how an artist creates a beautiful painting uses his colors and creates a nice beautiful painting, a perfumer uses his aromatic ingredients to create a beautiful, fine, good smelling scent. So that's what a perfumer does. And it's very tricky with fragrances because a scent can actually mesmerizing, it can mesmerize you, it can take you on a nice adventurous journey. And some of the scents can, be overpowering or it can be subtle. So it can stir an emotion, it can evoke an emotion, it can stir a memory. So although perfumery is based on scientific principles, it's a very creative process.
So it's not something which can just be learned and done.
Yeah, see, just like there are an artist has like basic colors, primary colors or secondary colors, but it's ultimately his creativity that brings out a beautiful picture in the painting. So similarly in perfumery also, although there are a lot of aromatic ingredients, it's the skills or the creativity of the perfumer that gives you a nice fragrance.
I think most of us didn't even know that there's something called a perfumery or a perfumist who can exist, and there's a course for perfuming.
Yes, there's no structured course in India, but yes, there are a lot of workshops, and I was actually trained by a senior perfumer from Dragoco. And perfuming is like a skill that's passed through generations and legacies. Okay. Because I think perfumery in India dates back to Vedic age. India, then used to be a premium exporter of really exclusive, expensive, exotic items like satin and ivory, and perfume was one among them. So they used to use aromatic ingredients like clove, for toothpaste, or sandal was used as a body paste, which will make the skin glow. And they would also use rose water to welcome guests in a wedding, to make it really nice, smell good. And camphor was used at all homes, to purify the air. And agarbattis, of course, was used as an offering to God. And they would even, like potpourri, how we have the modern version of potpourri. In olden days, they had this mixture of herbs and dried petals, tied up in a nice muslin cloth and kept, in the nice expensive saris to get rid of all the musty smells. So, perfumery in India dates back to Vedic times.
So it's taken its origin.
So yes, it is believed that perfumery originated from India, although modern perfumery started in Europe in the 19th century.
So it's taken its origin back then and it's being continued and in varied forms, I think.
Yes.
Vandana, why don't you tell us more about Sarki International Inc., because that's where you're getting to implement what you've learned.
The company Sarki Group is a 72-year-old company exporting to around 45 countries and a winner of 15 national awards.
Wow.
And they also enjoyed the #1 brand status, for instance, in more than 12 countries. But all this, I think all the credit, hard work, I think my husband and my father-in-law run the complete show. So I only assist them. Sarki International was founded in 1945 by my husband's grandfather, Mr. B. N. Krishna Shetty. He was, a great man with, a great vision, principles, and a lot of passion. And you know what, Nikita, like how they say, no matter how tall the tree is, how big the tree grows, and no matter what happens, insects or anything that goes wrong with the tree also, the foundation is the roots.
Yeah.
So that's what makes the tree strong. So in this case also, it's like that. The founder, my husband's grandfather, Mr. B. N. Krishna Shetty, he's a man with great principles, passion and vision. And I think that has been carried in, it's like a pattern, and there's a flow of that same attributes into the generation also, my father-in-law or my husband. I think, and although it's a handicraft industry, it's less than a factory and more like a temple of worship, like a place of worship.
Yeah.
There's so much precision and importance given to detail. I think that's what makes them very distinguished.
I think that's why they're being consistent in this business so far.
Oh yes, not only consistent, Nikita, I think, my God, there is a tremendous amount of, discipline, dedication, commitment, sincerity that, flows down, and which they've maintained, even to this date. Trade of religious commodities across borders was even unheard of. Yeah. Sarki Group was one of the first agarbatti industries to even export incense to a foreign country.
So when was this?
This was, I think, in 1967 or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, and they've also remained a 100% export-oriented unit for agarbattis, the only factory or the only company to have 100% export-oriented unit for agarbattis for almost like 10 years unanimously. So it shows, how path-breaking they are, how visionary, of how way ahead of time they are. And not only it's very obvious to sell incense to Indian populated South Asian countries is still very obvious. But Sarki Group has managed to create a nice incense market for adverse countries like parts of Europe or Africa or Australia, which is very groundbreaking, which is very path-breaking. There's a lot of dedication. In fact, you know what? In South Africa, there was they named one of the streets in flea market Tulsi Boulevard. Tulsi is the name, the brand name of the company. So they named a street after the brand Tulsi Boulevard for a period of time. So it shows the kind of impact they have, overseas, and locally also. They have this a nice mixture of rich culture and modern technology, which attracts a lot of students and universities throughout the country, like A-class business schools like IIM, Indus International. It almost becomes like a point of learning for them, and it's formally a recorded case study in Cornell University of United States of America. So the kind of business modules, the ethics, the systems that is inculcated or that is incorporated is something very, very visionary. I think that's what sets them, apart from their 500 other companies that exist in the industry.
Yeah, that's what, when I heard about this Sarki International, I was thinking, how could somebody market incense sticks outside our country? How is it even used in other countries?
In most of the Western European countries, it's used as, room fresheners or fragrance sticks, just to have nice fragrance.
Do they actually use it?
Oh yeah, and the fragrances that are found, in India it's used only for religious purposes.
Yeah.
We light 2 incense sticks and make sure the place smells good, and we feel good. It's an offering to God.
Yeah.
But in Western countries, what happens? They want a nice fragrance to their surroundings or the room. So, and even the fragrances are very exotic. They have strawberry and fresh fruits and aphrodisiac and very interesting fragrances. So green tea is one of of the fragrances for incense. So it's very interesting, and they also use it for spas and aromatherapy, and chamomile fragrances like chamomile is used to de-stress and calm yourself down, and all that. And they also use fragrances, incense sticks for yogic centers, holistic places.
Now that yoga has become
international, thanks to our Prime Minister, And in parts of Australia, they even use long incense sticks for outdoor barbecue parties.
Okay.
So and some of them are even used as repellents, to get rid of mosquitoes and things like that. In fact, it's so funny that actor Anil Kapoor was traveling to Dubai. He bought our incense, and then he gave a letter, which is handwritten letter, appreciating the quality and the fragrance of incense sticks. Yeah, so that's.
And when was this?
This was, I think, 2-3 years back.
Oh, it's not too.
Not too long ago. It was very recent. In fact, I think a lot of celebrities, be it from the Bollywood or Tollywood, Tamil industry, actors from Sandalwood, Kannada industry, also, they personally acknowledged the products and shared their appreciation towards the products. And especially Jews and Buddhism. See, just like Hindus, a lot of Jews and Buddhists also, they light a lot of incense sticks. We light 2 sticks, a couple of sticks. But there they light in bunches. In China, Buddhists and Jews, they light in bunches, and they light it mostly outdoor. So the volume is more. So a lot of usage of incense.
I understand this is a family business and things are in place. It must have been like quite an easy job for you to come here and learn the perfumery and all that.
I really wish, Nikita. I think it's like a big myth. That family business is already established and it's given on a silver platter and must be very easy. But my goodness, it's a complete contrary. They say only the bearer of the crown knows its burden or its weight. It's very similar to that. I have a lot of respect for self-made people. My father is one among them. So I have a lot of respect for them. I've seen him struggle, grow as a person and everything. But family businesses has its own challenges. It's like, a running race. When you're running a 200 meter or 500 meter race, single race, the entire responsibility of winning the race or losing the race or quitting or giving up lies only on you. But when you're doing a relay, it's a teamwork of so many people. So it's just not your potential, your capabilities. You'll have to match up to the other person's. And if, one of them falls in between or, has a lapse, you will have to make it up. You will have to cover up. And it's like, there's a lot of coordination, teamwork, effort. And family businesses mainly has generations. Yeah. So different generations now accommodating their thoughts, their ideologies and their principles and their ways or modes of working is very different, is very difficult.
So what you're saying is they would have already set a mark for themselves, and to get their match up to their level and then take it forward is really difficult.
Yes, it's very challenging. Say suppose, somebody gets 80%. Now if you want to move up from there, you have to work hard up to 80% and only then you can get 82, 84. It goes like that. So it only gets tougher for every generation or it's very challenging. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you're self-made or if you have a family business. Nothing comes easy if you're not hard working. There is no shortcut to success.
Vandana, you are a director and you lead the R&D of Sarki International Inc. But still you haven't limited yourself just to that. I was amazed to actually go through your profile and know that you are involved in helping people, and like who could even think of going and writing exams for the blind. It's an amazing thing that one person can do. When did you start doing all these?
I don't know. I think even when I was in school, college, I always had this inclination. And I think probably I just started. I used to find it so cool, and there's a blood donation camp. Oh yeah, it's so cool. Come, let's go, donate blood and all that. and we all used to go group of friends, and then there was this really lean girl, and so she was, although she wanted to donate blood, they said she couldn't. Okay. So because she was underweight, so they asked her, do you want blood or do you want to give blood? So yeah, so it began in a very fun, casual way, but somewhere along the journey, it really touched my heart. It took up a lot of space in my heart, and it fulfills your soul when you do it, Nikita.
Mm-hmm. So you've involved in doing all these from your childhood days, you're saying?
Yeah, from college, school.
So you started writing exams for the
No,
blind?
exams, I think writing exams for blind was much later. So it's so interesting, I hate exams, schools, and all that. So writing exam for somebody else was like totally very weird for me. Yeah. But I thought, okay, a blind person, and they need help, and I was just hoping that person doesn't fail because of me and all that. So, but yes, when I went there, I had a very different experience altogether. They are just like one of us. All that I had to do was I take her to the class, to the right class, okay, and I would just write down whatever she told me. That's it. And after that, she said, I want to take you out for a treat, and she took me out for a treat. She bought me biscuits and some Coke, and you should have seen the transaction of that small encounter of purchase at the store. The shopkeeper didn't even realize that the girl next to me was blind.
Wow.
She actually paid out of her pocket. So it wasn't coins where they feel the size and the shape and everything. She would transact in notes. The transaction happened in notes, in 10s, 50s, and which I found was very amazing. I think sometimes we have everything and still we take them for granted.
Yes.
And my brother would always say, if somebody says you're beautiful, I'm sure that person must be blind. So, it's like that. We take things for granted, And here there are people who actually have a loss of these organs, and still they work so beautifully.
They're just one amongst us, and we fail to treat them like that.
Yes, and it makes us value what we have. Yeah.
I think if at that age you could think of blood donation, and you could think of something like going and writing exams for blind, that's an amazing thing by itself. It says it all. And you're also involved in some charitable trusts and foundations, which is for kids and all that, Ashna Foundation, all that, right? What do you do?
Yes, I was actually part of Teach India, which actually started an initiative to educate underprivileged children across the country. So, normal people like me were called out, and, we would, so that's when I was associated with Ashna Foundation. So where we would go and we would teach children, just basic English and everything. So for me, just like normal, it was anything like a normal act, just go there, land up, and we used to have fun activities and group activities and everything. But the kind of treatment you get there, I was treated like, I felt like a star or a celebrity there. You know why? Because we take all the things that we have for granted. We don't even realize all the things that we have. It's only when these children, even if they want to do a drawing, all their drawings and paintings are in black and white. They don't even have crayons and color pencils. So for them, when they see normal people, who have everything, they're filled up with so much joy, and they think, it's so fantasizing for them. And it's only then, you will realize the value of what you have. And you will also learn that you don't need to have all this to be happy, because they are so content. They find joys in small little things, So it's a beautiful process of learning for us also, and as teachers, we end up learning a lot more from them.
And
it's like
know
that.
To value things that we have, I think.
Correct.
Did all these activities of yours lead to the NGO that you have, which is wow?
In fact, when I was working with Ashna Foundation, we did a campaign called Bacche Man Ke Sache, where we helped converting slum children to school-going children. So, we would go to the slums, have a questionnaire, talk to all the people there.
Okay.
Because, we want, childhood is very precious, Children should enjoy their childhood. not struggle, but it's not the same case for everybody, right? So we would go to these slums and we would take details. Do you have any children? Are they going to school? And a lot of people, my goodness, they don't like us. So the minute they see us coming with questionnaires and all, they don't like. They know it's about education, because I think the government already has a lot of initiatives and programs associated with it. So they don't like to entertain us, and sometimes they even lie, saying, oh no, we don't have any children and all that, because I think their children make for good breadwinners of the house, of the family. So it's very difficult for them to give up on that portion of their income or livelihood, which we totally understand. But it's also very important for the children to get educated. So we sit them down, we counsel, we tell them why it's important that their children should be educated, and it will maybe not immediately, but in a long term, that's what will help them or their children to lead better lives.
Do they actually listen to all these?
Oh yeah, we almost, just during my term, I think we almost managed to convert over 100 slum-going children to school-going children.
That's a good
And the
number.
government also has a lot of these schemes, like midday meals and things like that. And there are a lot of sponsors who come forward, to sponsor their clothes, uniform, books. And some of the children are so smart, so intelligent. They want to learn. They like to, talk in English. Just talking in English is like a very fancy thing for them. It's very cool, so they enjoy doing it. So, it's a whole different ball game when it comes to children, small children, And in one of the other instances, we once actually had gone to this, there's this place called, there's this organization called Make-A-Wish Foundation. Again, it's all about small children. I don't know if you've heard of this. So Make-A-Wish Foundation is about, fulfilling the last wish of a dying child. Yeah, a lot of children have this diseases, related to brain, to nerves, and cancer, and a lot of things which is beyond, help. So, and at a very young age, they tend to lose their life. So, what Make-A-Wish Foundation does is, they fulfill their one last wish. So, one of the boys wanted to become inspector. So he was actually, the Bangalore police actually made him an inspector for a day. So very interesting, nice things.
Do they actually do all that?
Oh yeah, and some of them, they want to meet a celebrity, Shah Rukh Khan. That's their dream before they die. I want to meet Shah Rukh Khan. I want to meet Akshay Kumar. And they have sponsors who actually, take care of that. And so it feels very good. So in one of these situations, so my friend and I, we went, to Make-A-Wish Foundation. We thought we'll spend Valentine's Day spending, with these children. So we actually gave them small things, like a doll. One girl wanted a doll and some cycle and some accessories and a crayon set and things like that. So we just, shared, these small, basic, regular things. So we went there and we distributed everything, and then we came back home and all that. And, life moved on, and 6 months later, we already forgot about it. Then after a while, I got a call from one of the child's parents, mothers. And she said, I met you at Make-A-Wish, and my daughter was no more. It's like, I'm very sorry. I'm sorry for your loss. And, may her soul
What else can be told?
Yeah. So I said, may her soul rest in peace and everything. And then later she tells me, but the reason I called you is, the doll that you gave her. She was so attached to it, and the last day, before she died, her last words were, she held her doll really close to her chest, and she said, Mama, I'm very scared. I don't know how the other side of the world is going to be, and no matter where I go, I want to take this dolly with me.
Wow. So it really makes a lot of difference. You will not know what you've done. Maybe you would have just done that as a gesture and doing good to somebody, but you never realized that it could mean so much
to them. Yeah, for us just like small things, but how much impact it has. I think is very fulfilling. It's beyond words.
You've been doing several things at a time. Where do you draw your inspirations from?
Nikita, I'm just inspired by everything. I believe that the world is a beautiful place to live in, and I'm inspired by the people who live in it. Perfection personified is my husband, Saptagiri Boggaram. So he's only my inspiration. Even in my wildest fantasies, I know I cannot be like him.
You can be. We all see you being that now.
No.
So you take your inspirations from everything that you see, from the time you wake up till you sleep.
Yes, I'm crazy that way.
Amidst all these, where did the idea crop up of coming up with your own NGO and helping people?
So WOW is the name of the foundation of my NGO, and it's still, a very small baby. It's just very close to my heart. So in whatever way I can do, and how much ever I can do, I just want. It's a small initiative, that I'm very passionate about. So WOW is a non-profit all-women organization, and we help in rural and we help in health and sanitation of rural women across India. As per statistics, there are 335 million menstruating women in India, out of which only 12% use sanitary napkins.
Seriously?
Yeah. And 23% girls drop out of schools because of this.
Oh.
So we aim at educating, empowering these underprivileged girls. When the whole world is silent, even one voice becomes powerful. So that's what WOW aims at: educating and empowering the largest population of women in the country with menstrual hygiene management.
So I must tell that it's a wonderful initiation, and I wish you luck.
Thank
that
you so
it
much.
grows big.
Thank you so much.
And I've also read that you've pledged your organs.
Oh yes, I think everybody must pledge our organs.
I mean, how does, I think half of us don't know what that is.
Very, very easy. You just, there are a lot of foundations. I pledged my organs from Gift and Organ Foundation. So when I actually pledged, I was probably 29 and 30. So my people around me were like, oh God, you're so young. Aren't you too young to pledge your organs and all that? And you should see, the founder of Gift and Organ Foundation was 24
when he pledged his.
When she started the foundation.
Okay.
Yes, and recently I think in Thailand there was a 3-day-old baby, and which just died, but its organs were pledged. So although it died, it lived only for 3 days. It saved, by pledging its organs, it saved 8 lives.
Wow.
Now that's a way to live, isn't it? Even if you live for a day, you make that difference. You live to its fullest extent. I think, which is so significant. There are around 5,000 kidney transplants done against a requirement of 1.75 lakh kidneys, and 1,000 liver transplants done while 50,000 livers perish. Same, I think the heart, there are 50,000 heart transplants, estimation of heart transplants annually. For a country of 1.25 billion, we should not have a shortage of organ donation.
Right.
When one pledges their organs, it can save 8 lives. We should not have a shortage of organ donation.
I think we should spread awareness about this. Most of us
And
don't
it
even
is so
take that
easy, and it is
initiation.
just very easy.
It's
You
easy.
just sign and then you forget about it. After you die, then the whole procedure and formalities will start.
Not sacrificing anything.
Yes, you're not. And it's like this. And I don't think any of the religions also, are against, pledging or donating your organs.
So there should be nothing that can stop a person from doing that. And it's a simple and simplest of formality, just by going and signing a thing and coming. So this is the message to all the viewers who are watching this episode. Please pledge your organs. You're not losing anything. Amidst of all these hundreds of things that you do, how do you make time for family? You have such cute little kids.
Oh yes, I love my family. My family is my strength, my backbone. They are my support. They are the fuel to my engine. So no matter how inspired you are, at the end of the day, you need the support of your family, to follow your dreams or to chase your dreams, for which I completely give credit to my dear, loving husband, you know. So he's always been very encouraging and supportive. I totally love spending time with them, and yes, I think we all should do, no? So it's such a joy, you know, to be around children, and you know, as soon as you come home, they hug you, and you know, they have a lot of stories to talk about. Normally every day I put them to sleep, both of them, no matter how old they are. The older one is 12 and the young one is 5, but still every day, you know, I tuck them to bed, and you know, we chat about how our day was, and what their friends said, and what they did, and how what they felt, everything. So I think it's important, you know, that it kind of makes me feel complete.
It's really important to give time to your kids also, right? Amidst of all these, and I feel all the women, they are super multitaskers, and no matter how their schedule is, how busy they are, they'll still make time for their kids, and the kids are not missing out on anything. In fact, they will learn more and more from their parents, especially when the parent is like you.
No, but absolutely, I totally agree. You know, all the working mothers, I'm sure, you know, no matter what they do, where they are, the family is, you know, the top priority. Like they say, you know, Durga has 10 hands. And why? Because a woman can do 10 different things at a time. And Ravana has 10 heads, because a man can think in 10 different ways. So I'm sure, you know, it's a lot of fun to be, you know, with your family.
Vandana, at last, what is the message to all the viewers who are watching this episode today, especially the women?
Love yourself. When you love yourself, you will love the world around you. Break all your molds, not your spirit. Set your mind free. Be the best you can be. Be the best version of you, because we're all stars. We only need to learn how to shine.
Vandana, thank you so much for being on our show. It was a pleasure having you with us today.
Thanks, Nikita. Thank you for having me over, and thanks YTV for this opportunity.
I won't be wrong if I say she's definitely a woman to learn from about how to be to the best use of society, not just while alive, but also after death. Just like incense, how it leaves its fragrance long after it's burnt. Thanks again for being with us. Thank you to all the YTV viewers. This is Nikki signing off. Watch out this space for more such interviews. Bye-bye.